like negative emotions was extremely important to raise more money.
A marketplace for brain-centric solutions.
Consumers really do differently from what they declare.
I think neuromarketing is not something new.
Sounds a little bit even probably scary for our audience. Micro emotions, micro facial expressions on the consumer face.
Like Balenciaga, for example.
I can do something with my audience to manipulate them and make them purchase my stuff. Consumers is the ability to understand how consumers really make decisions. Oh, you use the camera, you spy on our people.
It's always nice to have double people, a double profit. So it's the second episode of Pro Business Talk. My name is Daria. And like usual, I'm admiring the entrepreneurs. And today we have a very exciting topic about neuromarketing and other neurosciences. And I'm glad to introduce my very valued guest today, Omid Asgari. I will quote, venture builder specializing in impactful and innovative solutions, striving to maximize value creation for both business and society by decoding decisions through applied neurobranding. To make things better, I would say that Omid is also an associate at Nova Business School of Economics and some other business schools, as a matter of fact. So please, Omid, decipher a little bit my introduction of you.
Thank you so much, Daria, for your kind invitation. And it's great to be here with your audience, with my dear colleague, Dmitry. And for my introduction, it sounds a little bit maybe crazy, like what are these maximizing value through the applied neurobranding and so on and so forth. But I want to make it a very simplified version. I have this discussion with my good friend, Persian philosopher Rumi. And always he's telling me when we have drink in my dreams that he says, Omid, do all the things with your love, and then you will have joy within you. And that's exactly what I'm doing. So the topic of neuromarketing is something that is my core as my expertise and also my passion. And then through this passion, I would like to maximize value for at least 5 P's: planet, people, peace, profit, and people.
And now it's my honor to introduce Dmitry Gaiduk, also quoting. He's a trailblazer in technologies that help businesses understand consumers and decode human behavior. Currently, Dmitry serves as the Chief Product Officer at RIWI. I would like to hear about what RIWI actually is. Mm-hmm. And although he entered the industry almost by accident, Dmitry has enthusiastically spent nearly 30 years helping companies uncover the true drivers of consumer decision-making.
Probably I'll start that I'm proud to sit next to Omid. Now, after his introduction, it's kind of like I'm sitting with a hero, changing the world. So, yeah, you really do, yeah, like with all your heart. I'm in like more generic terms, I'm in market research and insights industry. I got a job as a trainee in biggest market research company in Ukraine, and started from very bottom and become first deputy general director there. Worked there 14 years. After that, started with technology, mixing the technology and like my first startup. And the company I founded, we joined forces with a company called RIWI. It's a Canadian global company based in Canada, a global company with access to both respondent audiences worldwide and amazing technologies to get insights in real time, to get insights with all those non-conscious measurements, marketing methods at scale. So now I'm serve as a chief product officer, And we are building amazing technologies and solutions for our clients worldwide for the topic I know, for market research and insights. And market research and insights is like, to use normal people language, is ability to make business decisions in informed way. When you understand what your clients needs or how they think about your products or your communication.
So the first question would be, what is neuromarketing in one sentence?
Big smart head.
I think neuromarketing is not something new. Is something very old. From the beginning of mankind exists, because we have the brain. Like if you have a brain, you're a human being. Or if you are a human being, you have brain. Some of them they are using, some people they don't use.
I try to avoid those comments, but I guess it's unavoidable.
Yeah, but anyway, understanding a human being, meaning understanding the brain and decision making, and you are your choices. What is neuromarketing? I think is another. Like we have 3 cameras here. Like traditional way of marketing, it has just 1 camera. But neuromarketing has multiple cameras. The same event we have now, but we are recording with multiple cameras. So neuromarketing is giving you other cameras to give you broader perspective to understand better what's going on.
But also I would say that it's even more critical. So neuromarketing is actually, from my perspective of understanding consumers, is the ability to understand how consumers really make decisions and why they're making those decisions. And the most fundamental thing, and the biggest problem to have just 1 camera, or in my former life, like when we organize just like surveys or focus groups with our customers, the problem that consumers, they don't know how they feel, they don't know, they behave differently from what they say. So this is, by the way, Ogilvy quote, and quite famous. Consumers really do differently from what they declare. And we can see this in many cases. In market research, you can often meet situation when you test the product or you test advertising, people say one thing, and then that ad performs completely different, or the product performs completely different. And then you understand that now it's something is different in real life. It's not about just asking, do you like this or not? And then it will, if they like it, they will buy it. No, it's not necessary. So there is something more. And that something more is our ability to understand how consumers making those decisions. It's not about just brain. It's not just about putting the person into a fMRI machine and then getting nice heat map of the brain, flashing and making decisions. No, it's not. It's even more about behavioral science, about all those social biases we have. Those just understanding of the customers, the better way, help us to develop better products or better communication that really resonates with people. The product that people have this kind of first impression that, oh, I like it, I want it. And this is you cannot measure this just with words, but those neuromarketing techniques can help you to measure that.
To measure those subconscious drivers of decisions.
Yes, subconscious, emotional, all sort of even automatic. So we can bring some theory here which could be relevant, that according to Kahneman is there are 2 systems in our brains. I will simplify this, but system 1 and system 2. System 2 is all about thinking about and making decisions. And system 1 is autopilot. So we don't think how to drive bicycle or how to drive car. It's automated. Our brain is trying to automate everything in our life for one simple reason. Again, I'm oversimplifying this, to save energy. Because thinking is very energy consuming process. So not to consume that energy, you need to automate it. But consumers actually behave this way automatically, like every day. So we automate our purchases. So like we are trying not to make more choices. We are trying to simplify our life. Our brain is trying to simplify our life. So every time we meet some brand or some person, we collect our implicit memories, like subconscious memories about that product. And when we are making the choice, it's not rational. It's not like, oh, there's a combination between quality and price. Never like that. Like it's about our emotional understanding of that moment or associations with this product or with this person or some other stuff that you cannot measure. And it's all about neuromarketing, to measure where people look, how they react, or how they behave, their emotions. All those things is ability to better understand consumer and how they're making decisions and why they're making their consumer decisions. If you understand this, then you can apply this in your day-to-day marketing life.
I think basically you told us that neuromarketing works with emotions and with the drivers that we cannot capture with the rationale, right? Let's speak a little bit into details. The question is, what's the weirdest or most surprising emotional trigger you have seen actually work in selling a product?
I want to emphasize on this before going to that specific question, because this is the foundation about your question. During my experience, both academic and also like a practical approach that I had to work on different projects, I saw in different contexts a golden triangle. The golden triangle in neuromarketing, in my point of view, is concepts, tools, and these two wings give you fly to apply neuromarketing, or what we call it, both implicit and explicit measurement of the feeling, as Dmitry said. So understanding this triangle gives you to set up most of the thing in your business. Meaning what? If you want to put the emotions as a triggers to persuade your client or your customers or your prospect to come to your funnel, sales funnel, and go and increase the conversion rate. From my own experience, maybe this can be very bold to say, but from my own experience, from the academic and also practical point of view, you need two major elements. One is emotion, and one is attention. It's like, for me, these two elements are like salt and pepper for your food, which is, you cannot really kind of like omit these two elements within your food. But the amount of salt and pepper in your food matters based on the context. In non-profit organization is something, the amount. In a startup is different. In SMEs different. In industry is different. So all these like these two elements, based on the context, the amount, precise amount, this is what neuromarketing can add value. Understanding how much negative emotion we should put here. How we can make these associations negative or positive based on your brand identity, brand association, and so on, functional or emotional. So this is my, let's say, overview of the way I'm looking at to the applied neuro branding, because we are not reinventing the wheel. In neuro branding, in a one nutshell, is something that we can measure exactly associations, functional or emotional, within two wings, implicit and explicit.
Sounds a little bit even probably scary for our audience.
Exactly.
But I'll try to
simplify
this.
Yes.
Yeah. This is what I learned because we enjoyed this talk. We know each other like for many years, and what I learned in like real life and selling these technologies to people, that we need to educate our audience how to apply this on day-to-day basis, how this really could work. So when Omid mentioned about negative emotions, one of the great cases here, we did a study together, by the way, that showed very interesting result that when is like non-profit organization is looking for money for funding, they should have proper number of negative emotion. Positive emotion doesn't work. People don't donate money when it's positive emotion. So the communication actually should provoke, like, the more you cry, literally, in specific points, then that leads you like to give money. That was in one of the countries in Europe. I will not mention the country in the specific case, but that balance of negative emotions was extremely important to raise more money.
I guess that has to do with the culture of guilt,
Yes, of course. But how could you measure this with just like traditional way? Like, people will not tell you like, no, like I read this paper, like whatever, like, and then I feel guilty and I will give money, or like, it doesn't work this way. But when you apply, now let's go to like a little bit specifics, like how it works. We can use special devices or just regular web camera with user permission, of course, to understand where people look. And then we can use that same web camera to understand micro emotions, micro facial expressions on the consumer face. So we understand when they look at this picture, they like become sad, or like when they read this text, they experience these emotions. We can also use some reaction time tests to measure the implicit perception, how they feel about this stuff. And then we can correlate this with the size of donation they have. And then it's a statistical analysis, which is really interesting, and it's surprising. Yeah, like, because like negative emotions, yes, we know that, like, the classic. By the way, this is like very good classic example that everyone can use like as a tip in their life, that like any communication that provoke emotions is more memorable, and recognition of the brand who use emotions is much better always. So it's obvious, but then you need to align those moments to specific elements, because as Omid mentioned, the next portion is attention. And if you provoke those emotions in the wrong moment, whereas your attention is not on your brand, for example, then you actually miss that effect. So all these techniques to better understand consumers are not only way to get more relevant, more holistic data, but also this is the tool to build outstanding brands, really like memorable and more efficient ads and other things that just works better than competitors. So when you want to make like it's better, you normally think, okay, where can I add those spices? Where can I make my
that certain second camera, right?
Yeah. So and like, how can I get this like another angle on these things, and to get the full understanding, not 2D but 3D picture of my customer and how they behave. But again, it should not be that. You should not overthink that it's all like that complex. So many things from behavioral science they used in our day-to-day life. So all those like prices like $3.99 or $8.99. This is from behavioral science. Yeah. All other principles like priming and like, okay, it was 100, right now it's 60. Oh, I see the value right now. Yeah, like so we can see this every day. Like or like classic example, when you play French music in the supermarket, you sell more French wine, you switch to German, and then you will sell obviously like more German wine, or like or Italian. But those are like technical things that like you can read a lot about those things everywhere. What I really like is, I want to raise one thing that probably not relevant to your question, but maybe will be interesting for the audience. So I want to raise that point, what is not neuromarketing? Because in many cases, people perceive neuromarketing as kind of specific science that I can do something with my audience to manipulate them and make them purchase my stuff by understanding their brain. So this is not neuromarketing at all. So, but there is a misperception of this concept that exists, and we knew that exists, and it's kind of like, even like, oh, you use the camera, you spying on our people. No, like we do this with user permission only and like controlled environment, but yeah, like this, there are some like concerns about these specific topics. Like so, neuromarketing is not about this. It's about better understanding of the customers, and even more, I don't like the word neuromarketing because it's a combination of understanding consumer brain, consumer behavior, all other aspects of human being, and making consumer decisions. I really like the term intuitive marketing, which is kind of you make all the things smooth. If you go to some like cases like for example, website testing and digital experiences. These are digital experience that not only satisfy the user need, but also bring those emotional moments or aha moments, like special elements. But these are characteristics of really great product, and we help with our tools to build great products or outstanding service or outstanding experiences.
What's more powerful in advertising? Making someone laugh, making someone cry, or feel annoyed? And why? I think you touched that question, that it depends
category.
On the category, on the product. So there is no universal or evergreen recipe for every business, right? You have for each product, for every context, you have defined those spices.
Yeah, if these are painkillers, you need to demonstrate, like why all those pharmaceutical companies showing us like those crazy moments of pain. That like they're building these implicit associations that. Like I've seen that person when when it was pain, it was this like solution, pain solution, pain solution, pain solution. Like, and the more you see this ad, you collect these memories. You don't want, but your brain will collect. It cannot ignore that. So like you're watching that ad 10 times. Then you memorized, and when like you feel the same bad way like the person on the screen, like oh, I need that, like probably that will help me. Mm-hmm. So they build in this intentionally, and it is negative emotion. Some other emotions could also work for specific stuff. For premium products, it should there are like so many factors you need to bring into account when you're talking about premium products. Like you want like simple task for the business. You want to sell your goods at higher price. But what is that? Is it like I need to add one more feature? I need to pack it properly? I need to communicate? I need just to raise the price and it will become premium? No. It's about those factors that consumers first feel emotional appeal of that product. They want it. So this is like how to measure, like they want it. It's not like, oh, yes, please give it to me. Like it's a different story. So like they really need to want it. They need to see the value, and those are emotional factors, like implicit factors that like to make the product attractive, and some rational things that like we call it shoppability, ability to find the product on the shelf. You put the product, there are like hundreds or if not thousands of different products. How you will notice? Imagine that like how big is the competition in retail store for your product to get that attention, or for your ad. People spend on ad like 2 seconds. We believe that, oh, this is my big board. I will put like this date in this information and other information. 2 seconds. What people will read in 2 seconds from 100 meters from your billboard? Those things you should remember about.
So basically, you have 2 seconds to start the right emotion and the right drive within the consumer
to provoke,
and to provoke the decision to buy, and that lies with
decision to buy is actually something that came into consumer mind later. You don't need to provoke any decision. First, you need to catch attention. What Omid mentioned, that like attention is very important, because attention in this case, these are not spices you add to your dish. If you will not get attention, you will be unnoticeable. Like just you will disappear. Your product will disappear on the shelf. Your ad will disappear in the clutter. Nobody will notice it. So you need to provoke somehow interest to just to be noticed. To some specific product or ads or even digital experiences. You want to navigate the person like specific way to solve their task. They need to notice that they can solve this problem right here and not in another place. Otherwise, they will get lost. So attention drives our behavior and drives our initial part. But then it's about relevance. If it's not relevant, again, remember our brain is on autopilot. It's ignoring everything irrelevant intentionally. So you need to get through this wall. If you want to sell something irrelevant, it will be extremely difficult. Brain will ignore it. I don't need it. But if it's relevant, if you ever been in a situation like you just bought a white car, and then you notice that all the cars around you are white.
Oh, of course, everybody has been there.
You bought some stuff. And this is because our brand considered it's relevant because it was your recent choice. You were thinking a lot about color, and then in fact. And this is the brain is opening or closing the door, and attention is very first part. Then it's about relevance, and then it's about also those emotional moments. We counted negative emotional moments, but there are positive moments. Look what Coca-Cola does with all those Christmas advertisements.
Yes.
They create emotions. They create emotions and they connect in your brain to these positive emotions and situations. So when you're in this festive mood, what do you want?
Coca-Cola. Right?
Yeah. So and
painkiller when you're in pain, right?
Yeah. Again, we little bit simplifying things.
I understand that you are simplifying, but these are very vivid examples that create the right picture of what we're discussing here. And okay, I like the success stories. I also like the failure stories. Can you please give an example of a product flop because of ignoring emotional triggers? Is there such an example in your experience? And what went wrong? So what were the mistakes? What went wrong?
It's very great question. I again flashback to my two components, attention and emotion. Imagine this as you're going to build the experience in any single service, product, brand, and so on. So it's all about the experience. So my question is, for your audience, as a business owner, whether it's SMEs or startup, big companies, or solopreneur, and so on, where is your X? X stands for experience. How I can make this X, and this is a guideline. It's not complete, full, but at least gives you perception. Two things. First, attention. If you cannot grab the attention, imagine this is as a date. You need to first just go for your attention, grabbing the attention, not provoking any emotion in your face first date. Leave it emotion for the next step. Mm-hmm. First thing is attention, meaning is like theater. A spotlight on your brand or your, let's say, product or whatever, a very specific spotlight on your brand to grab the attention. When you have this attention, second date, you can provoke emotion based on context. Sometimes, like what we did as a study, for non-profit organizations, for example, negative emotion works better in some contexts. But here's not the final story. How much negative emotion is lead to increasing the willingness to donate? This is another step. Adding a lot of emotions without understanding context or adding a lot of attention point, you're losing your date. So understanding this the balance between the when you want to make the right attention and also right emotion level. This is something that in general, what we call it intuitive marketing can teach us how we should balance these two elements in different contexts.
Thank you, Omid. Dmitry, do you have a particular example?
Okay, so one of the examples, maybe like it's not the best fit here, but we tested, I believe it was Nike brand, and in various like countries. It was like a couple of years ago, and it was like really not standard ad. It's like socially charged ads, where it's like empowering women about like in sport and daily life, and it's very powerful communication, very powerful, and provoke a lot of emotions. But after that, we recognize that the cognitive load is so big that it's actually harm overall emotional appeal of the brand. So when we like brand or we don't like people start distancing in some countries themselves from Nike because of that ad. You know, it's a kind of like, and when you do just the traditional survey, they agree like, oh yeah, this is so important topic. This is like so important to tell about this. It's so important to raise this. But when it's about their favorite brand, that means they have some cognitive dissonance inside, and they don't want to project this to favorite things. And this is the kind of like where you need to really understand, like, can I do this or not? I believe that sales, that case probably is on Cultural website, should be like in case studies, but I believe the sales of Nike declined after that campaign. It was interesting case to see and explain. But in most cases, you will not see such a dramatic situation. This is like really like kind of failure because of the emotions. The biggest failure here is not having emotions. So not to provoke emotions, not to like when people think that, oh, I will provoke some, like my joke will be perceived well or whatever and will be memorable. And it doesn't work this way. It's not a disaster. That just means that you will spend more money with the same campaign to get same sales. So technically, we can tell that the more successful your ad, the better we provoke attention, initial attention, and emotions, the more you save when you distribute this campaign.
Sorry, what I'm hearing here is that the renowned and scandalous brands like Balenciaga, for example, right? They're creating a lot of emotions. But what these guys are doing most likely is the emotion that they create, right? They support it with attention that makes the actual sale for some unbelievable money, stuff that it's not worth it, right? So what I'm saying here is what we see as consumers as some scandalous behavior of a company, right? It's totally illogical. Most likely behind it, there lies a science of how they grab that attention at a particular time and create a certain range of emotions to provoke you and to... So what they're doing is basically they know exactly how much salt and pepper add and when and
not
why.
Not necessarily they know. Like sometimes they know. No, sometimes they just provoke and play with their audience. And luxury segment is different. Even like we can say that, brains are the same. But all those behavioral patterns are different for different segments. Consumers for luxury stuff, they actually perceive this differently. I spoke to a couple of folks in that segment regarding how they cannot apply just traditional neuromarketing tools. They cannot invite, sheikh wife to for user testing or testing commercials. They need to act in some way with the whole understanding they have to provoke consumers, and then they will accept it. So they understand that this is the standard we give to our customers. It's a little bit like I really would love to learn more about that segment, but from practice point of view, for obvious reasons, that like nobody is like really testing, testing. Like premium products, yes, like a lot of like testing. But for luxury stuff, so like for like brands you mentioned, it's a little bit different story. Potentially because of like different behaviors and different story about the brand, about other stuff. Of course, they measure right now. Doing all these tests, it's not necessary about bringing the person into some locations. You can use social media listening. You can analyze open answers of like what people say, what kind of smiles they give to your content, in social media. That is also signs of getting consumer feedback, including implicit feedback. You can understand all those things. It should not be complicated. If you want to understand your customers better, actually, as a business owner, you can do this always just talking to your customers and measuring implicit reactions. We learned this from childhood, like when we talk to other folks, we can get this like emotional connect. Like we can like say like, oh, no, he's suspicious right now. I'm kidding. No, he really liked that topic. Or like you're getting this reaction. So you're showing the product, you're showing advertising, you're discussing something, you're getting this feedback, and our brain learn to get this implicit feedback. It's just technically very difficult to put it into sight of like the survey, but these are like technologies we're developing like to make it possible to collect this data.
We're running a little bit out of time, but we have two very important questions to cover. The first one would be, if I were a marketing person within the company, how would I use neuromarketing techniques or tools? Can you provide an example? How would I use it to increase my efficiency within the marketing campaign or within the marketing plan of my company or my particular enterprise?
Again, I would say it's from my point of view, I'll give you for free my formula. I have this formula of experience, starting from user experience, then plus customer experience, plus employee experience, and this leads to great brand experience. Meaning that your user experience, whether it's physical or like a digital product, you need to understand who are your prospects, then bring them as a customer experience when you have them on board. So onboarding session, onboarding experience is itself designing your customer journey, experiential, meaning that again, attention and emotion. So adding these two elements again. And then you cannot do this without nice and relevant employee experience, because if you take care of your employee, they will take care of your clients or your customers. Employee branding is also important, because if you imagine you have point of sale and then a nasty person what the hell you are doing here? So this is not going to be a good experience. Even you have physical, let's say, aspect of, we have a nice sensorial mix. Let's say, imagine like we have light, we have smell, olfactory, all the senses. But with a nasty person, all the experience ruined with that one. So employee experience is another element for building brand experience. So this is very like a kind of a golden triangle again, like starting with the user experience, customer experience, employee experience. These three elements gives you direction to build a fantastic brand experience.
Okay, thank you. And Dmitry?
I believe from marketer perspective, I will ask myself like one question: how can I make all our operations, all our efforts more efficient if we have that superpower to understand consumer better? Technically, we can start with very basic techniques, just learning about just Google or ask ChatGPT about what are the core principles of behavioral science, what are consumer biases. And from that, you will find a lot of aspiration to do very nice stuff and to improve your like daily marketing stuff. So like not to put too many information into your ad, just be very specific, like focus on one task, be outstanding. Always remember that like there are so many other products you need to compete. Then about pricing, about creating that terms of urgency, those are hygiene factors that many marketers already using, even without knowing that this is based on neuromarketing and behavioral science. Then you can start implement basic tools. Basic tools, there are like right now some good technologies even to use predictive AI to understand where the attention on the web page will go. So like, will they look at this place or another place? It's a good beginning for you as a marketer to understand like if the overall concept of my website works okay. And then you will go to the next details, because that AI predictive tool will not provide you enough data about the context, because the person in rush behave and like looking for some like, I don't know, on travel website, looking for last minute deals. And in the rush, he will behave differently from the person who is just like browsing this website in relaxed mode. And like they have different needs. And we don't know like how this will work. But when you apply some methods to record user behaviors, to understand their reasons, like why they're on the website, to measure where the attention goes with that, you can optimize websites so you can increase your conversions in like 2-3 times. And it's a lot.
That's a huge conversion to 3 times.
Of course, like for big website, like big e-commerce website, it's about like very small incremental changes. So it's not about 2-3 times. It's about like improving conversion 2-3%. But 2-3% for them is huge, like huge opportunity. And like they have special departments like who is doing this like day to day, like improving conversions everywhere, understanding consumer needs, consumer behaviors. For most of the businesses, this is like the problem's quite obvious. But if you just start understanding your consumers, their behaviors, then apply this. Let's start with what Omid mentioned, like attention and emotions. Like, let's start from this. Like, so attention, yes, we need to get this attention and we need to fight for that attention, and that attention is limited.
How do I know as a marketer that I have the right amount of attention?
You can test your stimuli. Start with like common sense, like just to evaluate the specific case, because we need to understand about what we are talking about. It depends really on the specific use cases. For example, use case of package, like you have consumer packaged goods. It's about the shelf. You can do this as a part of online survey. So like we have access to audiences worldwide. So we can run like this study in few hours or few days in any point of this planet, and measure like relevance of those like products and attention they will get on the product shelf. We do this with just online tools and utilizing webcam to see how this product will be or not relevant. There are AI predictive tools for that you can also use for this specific use case. Then if it's about communication, you can demonstrate those videos again online to your audience, and there you will get moment by moment emotional feedback. You will get you will understand all those moments where they lost interest. Or another very obvious case when you can like skip the ad. Yeah. So like you're like this is like it's very common, very obvious, but just try to pay attention when you next time like if you like know in like service like YouTube and not premium YouTube, so you have those ads. Try to look how many ads you will see that you will not even get to the point what is advertised before you got this skip. Like it's amazing. It should be obvious for everyone that you need to grab that attention and send the relevant message before the moment the skip button appeared. But it's not always true. In many cases, it's not true.
It's not how it happens.
It's not happening, and this is just waste. Like it was a stage of my life when my favorite dream was, how can I make the business where I will have just 1% of revenue of all unsuccessful ads. I will be billionaire. So it's somehow connected to the idea of proper testing, but unfortunately we cannot test all unsuccessful ads. But potentially we have the opportunity to make this world slightly better place, more efficient, with measuring attention, measuring emotions, and all that stuff. So it's completely possible, and those cases we did with Nova Business School.
Yeah.
I would really like you to share this successful
Yeah, I think before that, maybe you can add about the website and the usability test, how the SMEs they can use user experience. That could be relevant. I think one relevant case that we have done together is turning theories to practice, that we convert consumer behavior course at Nova School of Business and Economics to something very, I would say, in a way it was very unique globally, that appeared in Neuromarketing yearbook book. And what we did was quite amazing. We compared 15 top business school, European business school, their video campaign. And you know, as a prospect students, your first experience is the video that you see, and then after that, you're going to apply for that specific business school. So your first touch point, again, I remind you as a date experience. The first experience with your preferred date as a business school, the lifestyle, what is going to be if I go to Portugal to study, or Norway or Rotterdam or whatever, is something that they provoke. This is going to be your future life. And this future life, we have two elements in most of the videos, is like balancing between these: rational decision making and emotional decision making. What we are provoking. Some of the, like this is the result of what we've done. Some of the analysis that we saw in our analysis is some business schools, they provoke their functional associations, meaning the ranking. Oh, we are top in the FT ranking and so on. Some of them, they are selling the beach in Carcavelos, like Nova.
Yeah, why not?
Some of them, they are bringing personal story, like BI Norway. In Norway, they build a storytelling about you as
That's because
but
they
most-
don't have a beach in Carcavelos,
maybe,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah. But like the most amazing part for me for that study was that, in fact, we split students into groups, and each group tested its own video, and they used our tools that we use in RIWI. Like we provided those tools. And they did everything themselves, and they came to interesting findings. So, I believe the feedback was like, "Oh, if I do this video now, I know definitely how I will do this, and what kind of emotions I will provoke, what kind of information I will put inside to make a perfect video of business school." And that was kind of like, wow. And believe me, I've seen many presentations and reports of many market research agencies in the world. And the level of presentations that those students, with our tools, but with their smart brains, they did, it was outstanding. Like out of how many, 15 we had,
we have
12 to 13 was just very high level. This is marketers that already equipped with neuromarketing and understand oh, now I got it, why we need this, why how we can apply this in our real life. I don't know how many of them will apply this in reality, but now they have this better understanding of how this science works, how you can understand your customers better.
And I also have this example of zero budget marketing.
Yes.
I like this increased sales, twice profit, double profit, or zero budget marketing. Can you tell about Web Summit and how you mentioned you
Yes, during the last 3-4 years, I applied for building brands for startups that we developed. Applied neurobranding, from the brand identity to design brand perception to any kind of like traditional strategic brand management, but in another level, meaning that we applied, again, simple attention and emotion grabbing system in practice. That lead us to that, for example, one of the projects like 2 years ago, the Greenment was invited to presidential, let's say, a meeting with President of Portugal. Like without, zero budget, literally. We've been in TV, we've been in Al Jazeera, we've been in many other, let's say, big media without spending zero. Like zero, literally. The way we designed our campaign and grabbing the attention in our booth was interesting for people to grab this attention, and those attention was like kind of virus, good vibe, and all the media, they came, Omid, what is Greenment? And how you work on that? So most of the media, because of the right attention and emotion, they spread during the Web Summit and they came. So it was kind of like empowering your pull strategy and push strategy within the element of the implicit and intuitive, let's say, marketing.
So I guess that's one of the reasons why I got attracted during the Web Summit to your booth, right?
Yeah, maybe. That was maybe the
intuitive marketing
intuitive
working in action.
Omid is great attention catcher.
Oh,
And then
he definitely
convert into emotions
is.
and interest and everything. And conversions.
Yes, conversions.
So thank you very much.
Thank you so much
That
for
was
your
such a
kind,
fantastic, such an insightful conversation. It is my great pleasure to have you today. And I hope that it's not the last time we meet. Maybe we have a lot more topics that we could discuss in the next podcasts.
Yes, thank you so much for your kind invitation. As a Christmas gift, your audience, they got a free course from the new baby called Brainbox, which is a marketplace for brain-centric solutions. So I hope you enjoy the course, which is a 7 leadership course that comes from Sintra. So I invite you to visit Sintra within Brainbox to change your perspective, because if you change your perspective, you can change your mind. And if you change your mind, you can change the world.
Well, I think it's a perfect Christmas present for our audience, changing the world, changing the perspective. And we will leave the code and the link in the comments. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Sorry for the long introduction.
No, it's very good. That's because both of you have a lot to share and to tell about yourself. That's not that common, a person to have such a rich background.
We are so old.
Yeah, he is.
He is. Oh my.
I have.
Wise,
and you're modest, right?
No, he has young soul in old packaging. I have old soul in young packaging. That's how we.
Okay.
That's even that's the next topic to discuss about the wisdom and the communications that we have about the wisdom. It's not picking up. Well, anyway, it's not a problem. We plan to cut this, so it's okay.
That's why she was quiet. Yeah.
What is this?
Double people.
Yeah.
It's always nice to have double people, a double profit. That's for a business podcast, right?
Of course.
Because I don't have any Christmas presents.
Because you're a shoemaker without a shoe, right?
Yeah, I should do also some gifts, but I don't have any. See, but I'm happy to help.
With whatever.